Look, optimism feels fake because you know what you could do, what you should do, and what you've actually done. You know it all. And so it's great to say we should think positive, but usually that positive thinking, it collapses under stress. But what if that positive thinking is only collapsing because there aren't pillars, a foundation underneath that positive thinking? There isn't proof that we've stacked, that we are who we say we are. We are who we think we could be underneath that. People blame themselves for not living up to a goal instead of saying, do I understand the goal clearly? Do I even know what it is that I'm actually going for? That's the difference between real versus fake optimism. When you have fake optimism, it's an act, it's a language. You can borrow from scrolling through social media or looking at people who are already chasing the goals that you want, but that's gonna fade fast. We have to look inside because real optimism is grounded in meaning. It's grounded in proof that you've done or at least attempted to do the things that you said that you're gonna do. When the optimism is fake, it's a performance. It's in your language. It's in what you want people to see. When it's real and it's grounded in meaning, it'll tolerate discomfort. It doesn't need to feel good. It'll survive the hard days. It welcomes the challenge because it knows the value is worth the cost. Meaning reframes the struggle. Real optimism welcomes discomfort because it understands that the goal that it's going for might require it, but the goal is worth more than the discomfort is going to cost. It doesn't require feeling good. Real optimism welcomes the hard days. If you understand what you're going for and you understand why you're going for it, how you go for it is irrelevant. When you don't understand the goal, then things that are going imperfect seem like obstacles. But when it's real, you'll still see that imperfect move as progress. A small step is still a step towards what you really want. Failure, it's not personal at that point. It's just the next problem to figure out. The hard days start to feel necessary. And if I'm being honest with you, and anybody who's done this for a long period of time, you start to crave the hard days because you know the hard days are the proof that you're about to break through to the next level. And I can understand if you haven't done it regularly in your life, that those hard days can be roadblocks to stop you. That's why it's important to have a tribe of people around you who have been there, haven't figured everything out, but they know how to stay on the road to show you how to welcome those hard days, how to get through those hard days, and how to use those hard days to be proof that when that positive thinking comes that you can, use those hard days as the pillars that you need to hold that positive thinking up. You need the clarity. You need to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Discipline without clarity feels forced. Clarity creates voluntary discipline. I don't think you can have discipline without clarity. I think you're just moving in the hopes that something will stick. When you have clarity, voluntarily choosing to take on a suffering because you know what it means. Your excuses, they shrink when meaning is real. Effort feels chosen. Identity locks in behavior. You become the person that you want to be every time you make that choice to stay disciplined, to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And people do, they quit. That's why they quit, because they lose that meaning. The goals weren't tied to identity. They chased an outcome, not the value. There's no community around them, nobody helping them when those hard days come to reinforce the belief that motivation showed them. Motivation gave you that belief. Even when you didn't earn it, it gave it to you. Community helps you keep it. Proof helps you keep it. Optimism has nothing to stand on if you don't have that belief. People quit when they lose sight of the value, when they realize the cost that they're paying is higher than what they feel like they're getting. And if that's the case, most people quit. But let me tell you the truth. Any of us who have done it for a long period of time knows that that's just the next checkpoint. We don't quit on the goal, we reevaluate. We say, if I'm going to keep doing this, then I need to get more out of it. Am I swinging big enough? Am I thinking big enough? Am I taking a big enough risk? Am I doing something that scares me enough that going through all of this is going to be worth it? People quit because they have optimism that has no foundation underneath it. When your why is real, optimism stops being wishful thinking. Optimism starts to be the roadmap to finally get you where you want to go. If you don't have optimism, if you don't have a real belief that it can happen, then motions become half-hearted. I don't know anybody who stays on a path if they don't believe they can get to the other end. Excuses magnify small things become mountains. The day that you have a slightly sore muscle, you start to use that as an excuse as, I need to take the next week off. When the optimism is there, then you'll work through it. Hey, I can't do what I plan to do today. I'll restructure, but I'm still going to show up because the goal is still there. If you lose your optimism, in reality, you can use that as another checkpoint. That just means that you stopped believing in something. Did you stop showing up? Did you stop the habits that you started? Is there somewhere that you're starting to slip? Because usually, if the goal still matters to you, if the why is still big enough, but your optimism is failing, it's because there's some form of proof that you're not giving yourself. And it's hard to see if you're doing it alone. We're not going to flip that overnight. But when you don't have that proof, you need to have people around you to remind you who you are, remind you why it's important for you to become who it is that you are trying to become. And you need to become that person because we need you. The world needs exactly what it is that's inside of you. Yes, that's the consequence is another decade or two that just goes by again. The consequence is living the same life, just less time. I heard something that said, if you stop looking at life as I get one more day, and the next you wake up and you realize this is one day less. The quality of that life is the dignity that you get in that life. That's what you're really working towards. If there's no dignity in the last 20 years of your life, maybe you do. I don't. I would rather have quality years. I would rather live 80 to 90 independent, cut my own grass, go see my grandkids, great grandkids, to be that beacon that they look up to and they're like, that's what we're supposed to be. Everybody tries to take these quick hacks to live longer. I'm not worried about making people gym rats. Once you realize, oh, this is what showing up consistently and keeping a promise for myself can do for me. What if I applied that to this career that I wanted? What if I applied the same steps that I'm doing here? I transfer those skills out here. Could I get the same results? And the answer is resoundingly yes. Everything you apply this to, you'll get the same kind of results. You just have to prove to yourself, oh, I can do that. I can be the person who shows up. I can be the person who keeps a promise to themselves. And that's what most people are lacking. Most people are just like, no, I know me. I don't keep promises to myself. I say all this stuff, but then I go watch Netflix and I get DoorDash and I just feel like crap about myself. That's who I really am. I'm like, no, you had a habit of doing those things. We're going to show you that it's possible for you to really get on top of this mountain. Because once you really believe that, you'll let all that go. You'll pay that cost to get where you want to go. It's the only reason I'm trying to do any of this.